Hello and welcome to another race from the guys from the MRC. Today you're joined for the MEC. This is round 5. We are at Monza. Obviously they're in the Group 1 and Group 3 cars this round. And after 10 minutes of qualifying, we have Grasshopper on pole. In second we have Brucey. In third we have Bazza. And in fourth we have Molson. Only 4 for the Group 1s this round. And in first for the Group 3s we have Scott. I should say that the Group 1s are in the Peugeot 908 HDI. As I said, so in first for Group 3s is Scott in the Beetle. In second we have James in the Renault. In third we have Pickles in another Renault. In fourth we have Midnight in a Beetle. In fifth we have Mark in another Beetle. In sixth we've got Golden Brownie in the McLaren. And in seventh we have Fabuki in another Beetle. So Beetle being a popular choice for this round. Let's jump to there. I'll just make sure I'm coming through live, so it's all good. Yep, I can hear myself. Lovely stuff. Right, so let's get these guys underway. We're here for 90 minutes of Monza. And we're coming down to the start finish line. Here goes the lights, and away we go. Molson there to have a poor start. I think he had another wheel disconnect, same as he had in Fuji, but down to the first corners. Grasshopper keeps first place, Brucey in second, Bazza in third, Scott there in first. We've got Freeze, James, Midnight. Looks like everyone. Fabuki's got past Golden Brownie there into turn 1. Pickles had a terrible start. What's happened to Pickles? He gets overtaken by Midnight coming down to turn 1, and Mark's coming up on the inside as well. So all gets pushed a little bit wide, coming into the right hand. It gives everyone a bit of room. That does drop back to the back of the pack. Molson there looks like he's still having troubles with his wheel. Right at the back, dropped off a lot of time from the Group 1s, but Grasshopper coming into the second chicane. And Free getting through nicely there. Coming into... one's gone blank. I can't think what it's called. It will come to me. Brucey there in second, Bazza in third. So these three, Bazza's got the window wiper going, taking on Fabuki's tactic of getting it running whilst it's dry, give you that extra aero wash over the car. So Scott there leads these. There's a little break there between Mark and Fabuki there, but Fabuki has worked his way from the back. I do believe he had a terrible qualifying and couldn't get a lap in, or a clean lap in. Kept on getting little penalties here and there. That's why he started at the back. Mark there in fourth, hanging on to the back of Midnight. Like Fabuki's served a penalty. The Golden Brownie's got past. How did Golden Brownie get past Fabuki? Let's have a look. It goes deep, does Fabuki. gets it tail happy. Golden Brownie has to go nip up the inside. That's probably where he's picked up the penalty. Let's see, yeah, it is. So avoiding Fubuki's little bit of drifting round Ascari meant that Golden Brownie had to pick up a penalty by missing him, but Molson's got up and running again, so hopefully no more issues for Molson for the rest of the race. But he is, as you can see on the mini-map top right, already the start-finish straight behind these guys up the front. I will quickly run through the tyre situation. Obviously have to use all 3 tyres for the race, so soft, medium and hard. So Grasshopper's on the softs, Brucey's on the softs, and so is Bazza. So Grasshopper's had a good opening first lap and pulled out about 2.5 over Brucey. But they, for the fuel, they started on 50% fuel, so that's probably why they've gone for the racing the soft tyres, because it's obviously a light car. Absolutely fly at the beginning of the race. But back to the Group 3s. Scott there still leading at the moment, James, Midnight and Mark. So these 4 have opened up a bit of a gap to the rest of them, but obviously with Fuki's little drifting moment through Ascari, obviously he's dropped off the back from the pack. Golden Brownie there have a half-second penalty. Molson there is now caught up to these guys, making his way through the pack. Obviously not probably what you wanted at the beginning of the race, but not much you can do when you get a wheel disconnect. Golden Brownie there and Pickles after that turn 1 incident, that one dropping to the back of the pack. You can already see how far the Group 1 cars are ahead of these Group 3s. Obviously Group 3s are no slouch anyway, but it shows you the difference in speed between the classes. Molson there is getting through the pack. Will he get past James and Scott before the first chicane? It looks like he will. Just gets past Scott into the braking zone. So that's now Molson clear of the Group 3 cars. James getting right up behind Scott there into the right-hander. Looks like Fubuki's trying to catch up that gap a little bit between him, Midnight and Mark. These two coming round. My brain has gone completely blank. The long right-hander. Mark there sits behind Midnight through the second chicane. James has dropped off a little bit from Scott. Where's it gone? There, for first and second. So yeah, it looks like Fubuki is slowly catching up to the back of Mark there. Is dropping Golden Brownie, and Golden Brownie got Fat Pickles all up his tailpipe. I think Pickles will try and get past him coming down the back straight into the last corner, or curve, not curve, parabolica. Which he does do, gets up with the inside and round he goes. Curve Grande is the long right-hander that the second turn. Scott's already come into the pit, so he's done his 3 mandatory laps on the hard tyres. He's had enough of them, and that's it. He's getting rid of them. We'll see what he comes out on. Probably will be topping up the fuel, but Golden Brownie gets past Pickles. I think the straight line of the Renault is a bit of a struggle. It's not in the slipstream. And now they're coming up to Curve Grande. Will Pickles be able to do anything coming into the second chicane? Don't think he will. Oh, he does look up the inside. No, does just sit behind him there. And now they're coming up to Lesmo 1 and Lesmo too. I have remembered what they are called. Midnight's picked up a bit of a penalty. Mark's got past Midnight, so where did Mark get past? Was it just down into the first chicane? It looks like it was. Just in the slipstream, pulls out alongside, breaks that a little bit later. Midnight letting him go, it's not quite in this early on into the race. Mark just keeps it on the track. You don't want to be touching that gravel because you will be going or going slowly coming out. It really does slow you down. So that's put James into first now that Scott has pitted, and he's got about a second or so gap between him and Mark at the moment. But obviously Mark has been behind Midnight. Obviously Midnight with a half-second penalty. He will be dropping into the clutches of Fubuki once he's served it. We'll jump back to the Group 1s in a second to see if Fubuki will catch up. But I don't know if he's going to be able to overtake coming into Parabolica. No, he will not. So Golden Brownie's pulled a little bit of a gap over Fat Pickles for that. What was it, 5th and 6th place, but it looks like the Group 1 cars are coming up to the back of the Group 3s. Well, of Scott anyway, who obviously Scott has pitted, but Scott's come out on softs, getting the blue flag. So here comes Grasshopper down to the last corner. He does not get before, so he will be getting him out the last corner onto the main straight. Brucey there in second. Grasshopper's pulled a little bit of a gap over Brucey, and Bazza there. He must have had a off at some point this lap because he's dropped off massively. Let's look to see, and there it is. So what did Bazza do coming through the second chicane? Hopped on the curb, and the game doesn't want to watch the crash. Gets it spun round, gets it back on track, and away he goes. But that's cost him about 10 seconds. Let's just jump back to where we were. Yeah, what was his lap time? 1:44. So yeah, he's lost 9 seconds or so on that lap behind Bazza, Brucey and Grasshopper. Not what you want to be doing, but so there's still plenty of time left in the race to go. Still got an hour and 22 minutes or so to go of the race. But Moulton there, after his lap 1 with his wheel, he's got up to speed and he's putting in some decent lap times now. Obviously he's going to be going to take a while to see if he can catch up to the back of the Group 1 cars. But James there, he's been caught by Mark, it seems, over the last lap or so. Fubuki has got past Midnight as well, so looks like everyone here started on the softs. No, Fubuki's on the hards, Midnight on the hards, Golden on the hards as well. He's on side by side out of the last corner with Pickles. But will Pickles have the drive down the start finish straight? No, he will not. He has to pull back into the slipstream of Golden Brownie. Across the line they go. Pickles there using that slipstream to his advantage into turn 1. Golden Brownie just slips in behind Pickles there. But they're getting the blue flags now. Looks like it'll be from Grasshopper. And Scott there. Oh, having a bit of an incident with Bazza. Bazza's lost it. What's happened again with Bazza? That's 2 incidents we've seen. What happened there? Let's jump on board. Yeah, there's not really much you can say about that one. I'd say it's more of a racing incident between Scott and Bazza. Scott was obviously trying to move over to the left to give Bazza room, but that's cost Bazza even more time now to Grasshopper and Brucey. They're going through the second chicane now already, and Bazza's just going through the first one, so he's a whole of Curve Grand 8 behind the other Group 1s, but it has let Molson catch up to, well, slowly catch up to the back of Bazza. We'll see how them two can catch up to the main pack of Brucey and Grasshopper as they are coming through the middle of the Group 3s now. Grasshopper just slipping in between Midnight and Pickles there, which is given, who's that behind? Golden Brownie looks like behind as well. Brucey going on the grass to get past Golden Brownie, it seems. Hasn't been able to. Has he got past Pickles? He has, just coming into Parabolica. And Brucey's coming into the pit. He's being followed, I'm not really sure who by. Golden Brownie. So Golden Brownie's come into the pit as well. So that's giving Grasshopper a nice bit of lead over. Now it's going to be Bazza. Bazza should get past Brucey once Brucey's made his pit stop. Yeah, Bazza's still got fuel to go another lap. He's just coming up behind Scott again. Hopefully there will be no incidents this time round coming down the main straight. No, they keep as far apart on the track as they can to give each other as much racing room as possible. Molson's come into the pit as well. So James there still leading the Group 3s. Got Grasshopper coming up behind the last two for him of the Group 3s to get past. And there he goes down into Ascari. Mark pulls along James and he gets it done, but he does go deep. But it looks like he can stay ahead of James. James hasn't got an answer back, but will now James get the slipstream up to Parabolica? It looks like he's a bit too far away at the moment to gain anything, but no, Mark's had a nice exit out of Ascari down that back straight to keep that first place. They're running out of fuel. They both come in. Oh no, James goes for one more lap. Mark's come into the pit. But what about Fabuki? Fabuki will go round again as well. Pickles and Midnight go around again. So Scott is still the leader of the Group 3s who have pitted. Who's got Brucey, who has pitted as well, coming up behind him. Golden Brownie there. What do you? That whole straight behind Scott. Not the greatest start, but Golden was on the hards and Scott was on the softs, so there'll be a big difference between the tyre compounds. That's for sure. Mark is coming out of the pit. Where is Mark going to come out to the pit? He's coming out, looks like behind Scott. Scott's coming into turn 1 now. Mark's just coming down now, so Mark's lost a little bit of time to Scott. And Scott's come out on another pit of softs, so he's still going to have to do another 2 more pit stops, do the medium and the hard tyres. Golden Brownie on the mediums as well. So Grasshopper looks like he's going to be coming into the pit on this lap. Don't think he's going to have enough fuel to go any further. Let's see if he does as he comes around the last corner. It's a lovely livery on that one. I think it's the Pescarada livery from, I think, about 2007 or so, from the Le Mans. And Brucey's changed his delivery service from DHL last week to UPS. So we'll see if that car can deliver a better result than, I think it was 3rd last week, or last round. Currently 2nd, but looks like he's going to have to come into the pit right behind Fabuki. So Fabuki's in as well. James is in, so Brucey... Grasshopper's already come out. He's only put another half a tank of fuel in and kept the same tyres. Okay, so he saved himself a couple seconds in the pits by not changing tyres. Interesting strategy, but he's opened up a fairly big lead over Brucey who has gone to the hard tyres. Basil there, still into the pit. Molson, I've missed him. He's coming to the pit as well. He's on the racing hards. This is his. He's had an outlap, or is this his outlap? It should say outlap on his thing. So yeah, unless this is his first flying lap, it looks like, on the racing hards. But so after the Group 1s have pitted, we've still got Grasshopper in first, Brucey in second, Bazza in third, and Molson in fourth. They're all kind of spread out at the moment, but all different tyre strategies are going to be played out, and they'll probably all come back together at the end of the race. And after the Group 3s have all pitted, we've got Scott in first, who's got a healthy lead over Mark at the moment. Who's in second, James in third, Fubuki in fourth, Midnight in fifth, followed closely by Pickles and Golden Brownie in sixth and seventh. So we'll see if Golden Brownie can get past Pickles. Pickles is on the harder tyre as well, so Golden should be able to get a nice decent drive out of Lesmo 2. He does, he pulls alongside. Will Golden get past Pickles into Ascari? They're still side by side, it looks like Golden just nipped in front for that sixth place, and now he's going to be chasing Midnight. And here comes, I think that was Molson, it was Molson coming through the pack for the second time. So that, I think Bazza has probably worked his way through, has he? I think we've got Scott again. I think these two are going to keep a bit of distance between each other for the race after that incident on the main straight. Scott moves out of the way, coming out of the first chicane. You don't have to move out of the way. Group 1 cars will get past safely. So Scott there in first for the Group 3s. He's got about a 4-second lead over Mark at the moment, but Mark will be catching up. No, he won't. They're both on the same set of tyres. I thought Scott was on the hard for a second then. Probably will be pulling away a bit from James, who's on the medium set of tyres now. Fubuki's gone to the mediums, Midnight's gone to mediums, Golden's on the mediums, and obviously Pickles on the hard tyres. So Pickles went from soft to hard. Golden, Midnight, Fubuki and James have gone to the mediums. Obviously 3 of them were on the hards before. I think James was on the softs at the start of the race. I think Mark was on the hards as well. So don't hold me to that. Hard enough with 11 drivers to remember which Tom Pano done for the first stint, let alone when he gets to the end of the race. So Molson's worked his way through most of the field. He's only got Mark and Scott to get past, so he probably should get Mark down this straight, and it'll probably be Scott into the second chicane. And I don't know if he will get past Mark actually. No, he won't. He will have to slip, just stay behind Mark coming through the first chicane. Gets a bit tail happy there coming out, but now he will get past Mark, so he will probably have to stay behind Scott through Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2. Here we go, around the outside of Mark. Nicely done there from Molson. Bazza there. I say these Group 1s have all spread out. You think it's only been 12 laps, and look how far the gap is between them. But Grasshopper's tyres are fairly well worn on that rear left. Yes, you can't run the red tyres for more than one full. Well, you get, if they went red this lap, it's got to come in at the end of the next lap, so it'd have to come at the end of lap 14. That is the rule for the MEC. So He ain't got much left on his tyres, Bruce. He's hardly even touched his racing hards, but he's going for, probably looks like a full stint on the hard tyres. But Brucey does come up with some very different strategies to others. And talking of Brucey, we'll jump on board with him. Goes a little bit deep coming into the second chicane. Running a pink livery, as you can see on the front wheel arches there, the cancer ribbons. He lost a good friend 19 years ago to cancer. And as you will see on other cars in this race, all rocking the pink ribbon. I don't think, not many people, well, not everyone got the memo, because it was only announced a couple of hours before the actual race, if they would be able to put on the pink ribbon just to show support for Brucey and his friend that did lose her life 19 years ago. So that's why he went for the pink monster on the Peugeot. But yeah, I think I jump through, you'll just see just behind the front wheel arch on Baz's car, I think, there you go, just in front of it, or just to the left of the UPS with the pink ribbon. Yeah, there you go, on the bonnet of Moulton as well. It's quite hard looking at through the trees to see if anyone else. James has done it as well. God, these camera angles. Yeah, Fabuki's got it on the back wheel arch there. Golden Brownie looks like he's slow. Oh no, it was a Group 1 car going past. But Golden's got a big pink one on the front there. Same as Midnight and same as Pickles. So yeah, all showing a bit of respect for Brucey there for the race. So back to the action. Grasshopper's cutting his way back through the pack. I think this is for the third time in the race, only 22 minutes in. So it shows you how quickly these guys are going round. Coming up to Fabuki. Brucey there in second, Bassett in third, Moulton fourth. So they've all spread out these Group 1 cars around the whole track at the moment. But the Group 3s are a little bit closer currently. Mark there in second. How close is he? He hasn't caught much up. They're doing about the same sort of lap times of 49s and a 48 there for Mark in the last lap round. James there in the 50s, but he is on the medium tyres, so it will be slower than the softer tyres, but it looks like Fabuki is catching up slowly but surely. He's in the mid 49s, let's say, where James is in the 50s. So Golden Brownie's got past Midnight since we last looked around. I think so. Golden Brownie's up to 5th place at the moment in Group 3s. He's doing 49s as well. Midnight's there in the 50s, and Pickles really struggling. He's dropped off the back of everyone, but he's on the racing hard. So, and he's done. Looks like he's done his 3 laps mandatory for the race. So anytime he can come in and pit to put on a nice set of softs or mediums, because obviously then hards are a lot slower than everyone else currently. So Grasshopper's tyres, they are very, very worn on that rear left. I think it's mainly this corner, Curve Grande and the Parabolica, that are the two that are killing that rear left. It's hard to tell for the other Group 1s because they're all on the hard or the medium tyres, and obviously they haven't double stinted any of them at the moment. You see they're on Scott's tyres as well. It's that rear left that's slowly died. The Grasshopper's coming up to lap the front two of the Group 3s. And Mark there's really saved his tyres compared to Scott, but Scott's got less than 25% of fuel left and Mark's got just less than 50, so obviously Scott did come in the lap 3 and Mark's gone to the end of lap 7, so 4 laps difference in tyre wear. You can really see the difference. James A still getting caught. Oh, getting a bit squirrely coming out of Ascari. Was that just trying to get a bit of dirt off your tyres from going probably a little bit wide or so around one of the corners? But that's let Scott Fabuki catch right up behind James, and will he now have the power and the slipstream to get past James coming into the first chicane? We'll stick with these two for the moment. He's getting closer. You can see on that little camera angle. Here he comes. Will Fabuki go for the move? No, he will just sit behind. But Golden Brownie's dropped off behind Midnight. I think there was a couple of penalties, as I remember correctly, from the race. They're getting away with blue flags. I don't really know who it is. I think it's going to be Brucey coming up behind, but Fabuki's going around the outside of James, coming to the second chicane. Side by side, it's going to be Fabuki that's going to probably claim third place in the Group 3s. It is. So now will Fabuki be able to pull away from James? They're both on the Mason mediums, but Fabuki's clearly been able to find a bit more power or a bit more speed than James has. But we do know that Renault is a little bit slower in a straight line. I think it's got the top end, but it takes a lot longer to get there. Brucey there going around the outside of them two. Got a little half-second penalty, but he should be able to serve that and keep ahead of these two once he's served it. Yes, Scott there and Mark. Still a bit of a gap between the two of them. Still about 4 or so seconds between the two of them two. Fabuki there is about 8 seconds or so behind Mark. Obviously James is only about a second behind. Midnight about 10 seconds behind James. Golden Brownie, he's dropped it off. He's about 3 seconds or so behind, just been overtaken by Bazza coming into the last corner. And Pickles another about 3 or 4 seconds behind Golden Brownie. So they're all still fairly close. The Group 3s, obviously they're all on different strategies at the moment, so with obviously some being on softs, some being on mediums and some being on the hards. And obviously you can tell by the lap times of how much difference there is between 3 tyres. The Grasshopper now, he's got his fuel light is flashing, so that 50% fuel has been able to get him to probably the end of lap 18. Tyres are nearly dead, but you can see his lap times are dropping off. He had a 1:45 there at lap 15. I missed that, so he would have dropped what looks like about 8 to 10 seconds off. So that's Grasshopper into the pit. He should have to change his tyres now, because they're not going to do another stint. So that will catch Brucey to Grasshopper. Brucey's still got about 35-40% of his fuel left, so he's still got another, say, 7 or so laps till he has to come into the pit. Goes around the outside of Scott, round Parabolica. Grasshopper's he's gone for another short stint again. He's put about 30% of fuel in. He has put the racing hards on, so he's probably going to go for the minimum 3 lap on them hards just to get them run and done. As there crosses the line, He's doing 36s, 37s. Bruce is doing 38s, 37s. Obviously, Grasshopper's doing 35s, but he was on the softs. So, yeah, Grasshopper's got just the mediums to run. Brucey's got just the mediums to run. Baz has got the hards to run. And Molson, I believe, has got the mediums to run. So, yeah, we've all got mediums apart from Basil, we've got hards. So, we'll see if they'll all cozy up together. I'll stick with Molson for a second and have a quick drinks break. So now Molson's coming up to the back of the pack. Scott has pitted now for another set of racing softs, but he's gone for a full tank again. So not too sure on Scott's strategy here. He's gone soft so far, so he's going to have to make 4 pit stops in total, because he's got to obviously change to the mediums as well as changing to the hards. So interesting strategy there from Scott. And Pickles there, just getting out of the way of Molson, down back straight. And Golden Brownies opened up a bit more of a gap to Pickles. Racing mediums still got a fair bit of life in, but obviously running out of fuel. Golden dropped off the back of Midnight by quite a bit. I know personally it was mainly I was picking up penalties through Ascari. Or the second chicane. Looks like someone's been off because a few cones on the track. A few hazards to be avoided whilst racing in this multi-class race. But James there in 3rd place currently, after Scott's made his pit stop, so he's not dropped too far off the back of Fabuki since he got past. But Fabuki is a bit of a distance from Mark, but they are on different tyres, and you can see obviously he's on 49s, he did do a 48, a couple of 48s he's done as Mark, and Fabuki there, look at them lap times, all in the 49s, even with being overtaken by the faster class as well, so really is consistent with his lap times. Obviously we'll see if that pays off. So obviously from the back, from a poor qualifying, so see how that works out for him in just under an hour's time when the race comes to an end. But it is all spread out a little bit at the moment, so what I will do is Brucey's got past Grasshopper. I missed that one. Let's have a look. Sorry for the flicking back, but did Grasshopper make a mistake? It looks like he did, coming out of the first chicane. What happened here for Grasshopper on the racing hards? Obviously, did he just got the power down too much? So the cone's already on the track before he made that mistake, but that means Brucey's gone up into 1st place. So a little mistake there from Grasshopper has pushed him down to 2nd place. So that's put Brucey now into 1st. Obviously he's only technically got one more. Well, they've both got one tyre compound to run of the mediums, so that has put Brucey currently in 1st place, but as I say, we've still got a long way to go yet. Very long way of the race to go. So let's just jump back to, I think Basil was coming around the last corner or so. I think we were around here roughly when I did notice that the lead for the Group 1 had changed. Bazza there picked up a half-second penalty, probably through the first chicane. Doing very nicely there. He's got half a tank of fuel, where Brucey, who pitted and put in a full tank, has got less than 25%. So Baz is really trying to save fuel, as well as doing some decent lap times. And the 36s did drop to the 35 as well. Brucey's in the 36s and 37 8s, so yeah, doing about the same lap times but saving considerably a lot more fuel. So that's going to allow Bazza to catch up, and he's not too far behind. Now I think that all three are on the back straight now. Mogson there is still quite a bit of a distance behind. He's still doing some very consistent lap times, with obviously having to overtake the slower class. You will be like there, he's slower, so it is a bit harder to be more consistent. But Brucey has come into the pit, so that's put Grasshopper back into the lead of the race, and he's dropped down to third now. Baz has got past him as well, so I see what. I'm sure Brucey will probably come out on the medium tyres, and we'll obviously see what he does to the end of the race. But Bazza there is going to be going for a lot longer than Grasshopper, so Bazza, by the looks of it, will probably go up into first place once Grasshopper makes his pit stop. And Brucey there comes out. It does come out on a set of mediums, but Mark's come into the pit, so that's going to put Fabuki, it will do, into first place of the Group 3s. So far Fabuki's done quite well to get from, I say, last place on the grid to first of the Group 3s. He's worked his way through the field, and he's still got a fair bit of fuel left to go. James there now into second place, Midnight into third. So Mark's into pit, and so's Golden Brownie. Golden Brownie's got no more fuel left. Skipping all over the place. Mark there comes out just ahead of Pickles. Will he keep that place into the first chicane? It looks like he will. Looks like Pickles there went a bit deep. He does, he has to go across the bumps to get back on track, but it looks like Mark's been able to catch up to the back of Scott. I'll check on the next lap the gap between them, because it was about 4 or 5 seconds between two. But Grasshopper's come into the pit now as well, so he's done, looks like he's done his 3 laps. 52, yeah, he's done his minimum 3 lap pit on the hard tyres, so probably go to the medium tyres now, and that'll be him done for the tyres required. But Brucey gets back past Grasshopper. They both got a full tank of fuel in and mediums, but Bazza up into first in the race, and he's still got a long way to go yet. I'd say still got a lot of tyres, a lot of fuel. Molson done his hard tyres now. We've done about 10 or so laps or more on them hard tyres. I believe he's got to go to the mediums as well. So Fabuki comes into the first chicane. First for the Group 3s, James second. Midnight in third. Scott in fourth. Mark fifth. Pickles in 6th, and Golden Brownie, obviously after making his pit stop, in 7th place currently. And as we are, Baz is going to be going around for another lap. I shall jump on board for a lap guide of Monza. So coming down the start-finish straight. I don't know where they're braking in the Group 1s. It's about 125 into the first chicane. Round they go, right, left, and absolutely boot out of here. Don't do a grasshopper and end up in the grass on the left-hand side. But when you come around Curva Grande, just keep this one absolutely flat out. All the way around to the second chicane. probably about 100 metres, slamming the brakes on, flip the left hand and the right curb there, and then up to Lesmo 1, very late apex, and then this little short straight into Lesmo 2, and on to the first of the back straights. I'd say there's technically 2 here, through the little left kink there. Not sure who they're coming up behind. But into Ascari, runs it a little bit deep. When you get that corner, well, that corner's nice. It's nice and quick. Onto the second of the back straights, into the last corner of the Parabolica. So get about halfway round and then absolutely boost it again on to the start finish straight, and that is a very quick lap of Monza. Thank you, Bazza, for the lap guide. Bazza there coming up behind Mark. Will he get past into turn 1? Looks like he will. Nice little overtake there from Bazza. Grucey and Grasshopper found themselves together on track. So this is, obviously we don't know where Bazza's going to come out once he makes his pit stop, so technically this would be the battle for first place. So we just don't know where Bazza's going to come out, because he is obviously a fair bit ahead. Obviously do lose a fair bit of time in the pit stop. They've come up behind Golden Brownie. They'll probably go round the outside through Curve Grande. Both nicely get past. Coming up to the second chicane. Probably both of them lost a little bit of time there through the first chicane behind Golden Brownie, but kind of traffic giveth and taketh during multi-class races. So Brucey still keeping ahead of Grasshopper for that second place at the moment. Molson he's just got through the field, just got past Fabuki. So he's got a few laps of clear track to get some decent lap times in, but Molson's just come out of the pit and he didn't change his tyres. So all he done was filled up and carried on going, because no way would he have done 2 laps and used that much on his hard tyres. So interesting strategy there from Molson. Fabuki, not long until he's going to have to come into the pit. There we go, his fuel light has literally just come on, so he's got 2 laps of fuel left with only a lap and a half. So he'll probably be coming in at the end of this. No, probably get to the end of the next lap, so the end of lap 24, I would say he'll have until he comes into the pit. Get as much out of the medium tyres as he can. James there, his fuel light is flashing as well, so he'll be coming in either this lap or the next lap. Same for Midnight. So Scott there is typically the first of the Group 3s once Fabuki, James and Midnight have pitted. Mark there he is dropped off the back of Scott, but he is on the medium tyres where Scott is still on the softs. So Scott's still got to run the medium and the hard tyres, so looks like Mark's doing a fairly decent job at the moment. I think he's done all his tyre compounds required. Yeah, James comes into the pit, does Fabuki. Fabuki carries on going for one more lap, so does Midnight. So we'll see where James comes out in retrospective to Scott. Mark and Pickles has to come into the pit, I would say, end of this lap. He's on the right hand side coming out of the last corner. Yep, so Pickles comes into the pit. Golden Brownie there, quite a distance behind at the moment, but he has pitted a couple of laps ago, so hopefully he'll catch up to the back of Pickles for 6th place. But Bazza there is just cut up behind Fubuki. Both of them got their wipers going, so there's the wiper crew. It's come a bit overcast, but we do know that Monza does not have rain in GT7, so then wipers will be on the whole race for Bazza and Fubuki. Brucey there, he's pulled a little bit of a gap between him and Grasshopper, so Grasshopper clearly not liking the medium tyres as much as Brucey. Or it could have just been that they've been caught up through traffic and Brucey's been able to just get through before a corner, and Grasshopper's had to wait. Molson there coming out of the first chicane. Fubuki into the pit. Will Midnight be coming in? It looks like he will. I don't think he'll be able to get another lap now. His fuel's literally just run out on the gauge, so there we go, 0 fuel in the tank. So both Fubuki and Midnight running their tanks dry, but that's put Scott, looks like, into 1st place for the Group 3s. Let's have a look, make sure he gets through past the pit exit. Looks like he does. Will Mark get past the pit exit before Fubuki comes out? Fubuki's just leaving the pit now, so he's just behind Mark there. So Fubuki down to 3rd place. Midnight is going to be in 4th, but he's got James coming up right behind him, who's going to make it to the apex of turn 1 first. James cuts off Midnight's nose into the 1st chicane, gets it booted out, so James has just beaten Midnight in the pit stop. But Midnight's got a drive coming out of the chicane round Curva Grande up to the 2nd chicane. Midnight's still just side by side, but pulls him side behind. James there into the 2nd chicane, thinks better of it, probably got cooler tyres than James, so doesn't want to risk any silly moves. We are just over halfway into the race, so still a long way to go. Golden Brownie there, he's come out, no, sorry, he's got past Pickles. I think Pickles was on the hard, so Pickles was going a little bit slower than Golden was in that 2nd stint, but Pickles on the softs, so we'll see if he can catch up to Golden Brownie. He's on the softs, but he's already down nearly halfway on his tank of fuel, where Pickles has got a full tank of fuel, so it will really depend on the strategies here to who's going to make it to the end of the race. We'll probably just like one more pit stop, or will there be 2? We shall see. Bazza there, he's running out of fuel now, probably coming in at the end of this lap, so we shall see where he comes out in relation to Brucey and Grasshopper, who are just going through Lesmo 1, Lesmo 2 at the moment, where Bazza's coming into the last corner. It's probably good time he is running out of fuel. He's just coming up behind, looks like Pickles just ahead of him, so he's not going to lose any time by overtaking the field again. So Bazza does come into the pit for just the 2nd time in this race. So Brucey there is coming down the back straight up to Parabolica. Let's see how they fare with Bazza. He's just filling up now. Will they come out ahead, or will Bazza come out ahead? Don't think he will. He's still filling up his fuel tank, so Brucey goes back into 1st place with Grasshopper in 2nd, and Bazza's just coming out the pit, so these 3 have really closed up. you think there was about half a lap between the three of them in about, what, 15 laps of the race, and then suddenly 15 laps later they're only about 10 seconds or so between them, probably not even that. So Scott there in first for the Group 3s, and Fubuki's got past Mark. When did that happen? Looked like it probably would have happened last lap. So I'll quickly skip back to see. Oh, literally just coming into the last corner. Fubuki gets it on the inside of Mark, and then Mark looks like he doesn't have much to reply coming into the first chicane. But yeah, Fubuki set his fastest lap the last lap round. I don't know why there's 2 blue on the timer screen there, but yeah, 1:48.3. Don't know what Scott's lap time is because he obviously done it earlier on in the race. But Fubuki now on a charge, seeing that Scott's doing 1:49 to 48. Obviously Fubuki's just come out of the pit and already set a 48, so he's got about 10 seconds to catch up. But we all know that Scott's got to do the medium and the hard tyres with only 40 minutes left of the race, so yeah, having 2 pit stops to do, probably not the way to go, but we'll see if he makes it work. Mark there, he's on the mediums as well, so this boy's dropping off the back of Fubuki after being overtaken just under a lap ago. James there, he's got Midnight right up behind him. Coming into Ascari. Midnight, you see, after they've come out of the pit, he's not been able to do anything about getting past James, but he's nice and close at the moment. Will he go for the move into Parabolica, or will he wait until the first chicane? Right behind, brakes earlier than James just so he doesn't bump him off into the corner, but it looks like, oh, and James runs it wide onto the grass. Oh, AstroTurf has to have a little wiggle to try and get the dirt off the tyres. Moulton there splits the 2 Group 3 cars. James then slips into Moulton's slipstream to try and stop from Midnight from going for a move into the first chicane. And Midnight can't do anything about it. Still stuck behind James for the moment. Gets it a bit tail happy coming out of the first chicane, so that's going to give Midnight a bit of a run. Coming through Curva Grande, James goes nice and tight. Make Midnight go the long way round. Looks like Midnight's still just going to sit behind. Brakes a tiny bit earlier than James, but oh, does have a little look. That does back out. It's a great little battle here between James and Midnight here. Still sticking right behind him is Midnight, even with a few. James onto the Astro again. Looks like Midnight kind of followed him, but Midnight got a better run coming out of Lesmo 2 down the straight towards Ascari. Looks like Midnight's going to get past James. Yes, he does. So a nice little overtake there from Midnight. Just a little mistake there from James, and it's all he needed to get past. So will Midnight be able to check out and try and catch up to the back of Mark, who's just coming out of the exit of Parabolica, where Midnight's just going in. So what is that? They're about 10 seconds or so between the two of them. It's easy catchable. Obviously when you're in the same car it makes that a little bit more difficult, but looks like James is going to try and be fighting back for this 4th place. Really pull out, he pulls out alongside him. Looks like James has got Midnight back into the first chicane, so that Renault's no slouch in a straight line, but it does need, I think, the slipstream to gain the advantage, but Midnight now going around the outside of James round Curve Grande. Already gets it done halfway around it, so clearly a better drive this time than he did the last lap. So that's now Midnight back into 4th place. So now will he be able to check out from James? Already pulled a bit of a gap over him just through a couple of corners. So yeah, it looks like Midnight's now going to try and check out and catch up to the back of Mark. Vicky's pulled a little bit more of a gap over Mark there, and Scott is running out of fuel. So Scott will be coming into this pit this lap. Fingers crossed he changes to either a set of mediums or a hards, otherwise he's going to be making this a 5-stop race, which I really do not see working, but runs it very wide there. Probably where he's got absolutely no tyres grip left. Yeah, he does come into the pit, so that's going to put Fabuki back into 1st place. He was already been there once this race. Scott's kind of been leading there when everyone's made their pit stops, so we'll see when Fabuki makes his pit stop, because he's only halfway through his tank at the moment, so he's still got a fair few laps to go before he has to think about coming into the pit. Mark there coming into the first chicane. Oh yeah, Bazza, we knew that. Yep, we knew Bazza pitted. So stuck with Midnight and James for well over a lap, so Scott comes out the pit there in 5th place, just ahead of Golden Brownie. It was a Group 1 getting past, so Scott didn't lose another place coming out of the pit. So Scott's already a pit stop ahead of Golden Brownie at the moment. Pickles there just coming across the line to start lap 30. Brucey there, he's kind of pulled a fair bit of gap over Grasshopper now. This is just the 10th or 2 a lap, and he has opened up about a 4-second lead, 3 or 4-second lead over Grasshopper. So Brucey doing really well at the moment. Used a bit more of his tyres in the process, but I know personally that Brucey uses a pad, so pad drivers always use their tyres up more, just can never get the turn in, so you end up having to kind of squeal your tyres a bit more than you do on a wheel. But Grasshopper now just coming up to James and Midnight as well. Baz there, he's just dropped off the back, but obviously he is on the harder tyres, so obviously it needs to on the mediums. He's doing what, 30, it's hard to say, 38s, but these two are doing 36s. So he's losing about a second or so a lap at the moment. Bazza coming up behind Scott again, down the start-finish straight, pulls to the left, Scott pulls well to the right, make sure them two aren't close on track coming down the main straight. Wilson there in 4th. He is about half a lap or so behind the other Group 1 car, so he hasn't lost too much time from that one incident with his wheel. Where am I going? Yeah, he's probably lost a little bit of time. Obviously he has done, looks like he's dull stint, obviously his hard tyres. Obviously it must have been the way that he thought that it was probably going to be quicker, trying to get save a couple of seconds by not changing your tyres. So Fabuki there in 1st for the Group 3s. Mark there in 2nd is going to be coming into the pit. Fabuki's still got half a tank, so Fabuki really saving his fuels, picking up a half-second penalty, which will have to serve the next lap around. But I think Mark will be coming into the pit this time round. Will he be able to fill up for the last time? And I think obviously, yeah, Mark's done his 3 tyres. I do believe it is literally only Scott that has to make the pits one more time. So Mark comes into the pit, Midnight there, about the same amount of fuel as Fabuki, James there, about just a bit more fuel than Midnight. Bazza there, coming past James for, I think, about 4th or 5th time now. Mark's still filling up, so that puts Scott past Mark. So that was the battle for Scott's gone to softs again. I don't know if this is the game messing up, but I do believe that that's Scott on the 4th set of softs that he's run. Okay, that's very strange. So that is making him do 5 stops this race. So yeah, unless the game's completely messed up. But I'll have a look at his lap times. He's doing 49s. Kabuki's doing 48. Midnight's doing 49s on softs. So yeah, he's doing about soft lap times, I would say. So Scott's strategy's really confused me here. I don't really know what he's doing, because he's still got another 2 pit stops to make if he's got to go to the medium hards. But we'll find out in the next half an hour what Scott's strategists were thinking for the race. Mark there, he's come out on set of softs, full tank of fuel. Might be enough to make it to the end, I'm not too sure. I think this will be about a 50 or so lap race, going with the lap times, so we'll see if a full tank will last him 18 or so laps. But Golden Brownie there, looks like he's going to be coming into the pit this time around. He's running out of soft tyres on the back left, and even the front left is a little bit down as well. So yeah, really struggling there is Golden Brownie for just pace in general around Monza. So Pickles also comes into the pit. He only used half a tank of fuel, but used all his soft tyres. The Golden Brownie had a whole tank of fuel and about the same amount of tyre wear, so it's just a race in the pits for them two. Brucey's been overtaken by Grasshopper. Brucey had a mistake on the last lap. Oh, that was right. Brucey had the blue screen on his PlayStation come up, so his car went into auto drive, and it looks like it's dropped him back about 6 seconds. So it opened up about a 6-second lead over Grasshopper, and now he's got to do it all over again to catch up to the back there. It looks like he's still in auto drive. Looking at the how the car is driving, and he's got his hazards on, so Brucey will still be losing time behind Grasshopper currently, because there we go, the hazards have come back off. So Brucey is now back in control of the car, as you can tell, getting the back end nice and leery out of the second chicane. So that has dropped Brucey. I know the timings only say about 6 seconds, but I'd say it's about 8 seconds behind Grasshopper at the moment. So that's given Bazza a little bit to look forward to. Might be able to see Brucey just up ahead, so not all is lost on the racing hards for Bazza. But Brucey will be coming into the pit this lap, I believe, as well, so not the greatest time for his console to blue screen on him. And Grasshopper comes into the pit as well. He's got 23% of fuel. He's got a load of tyre wear left, so yeah, a bit interesting there from Grasshopper. Why he's come in so early, but let's see what they do. He's changing his tyres as well, so that's put Bazza back into first place. this Group 1 race is really topsy-turvy between these three. It's just a shame that Molson really could have been a four-way battle for first place if he didn't have that wheel disconnect at the beginning on lap 1. Grossos has come up onto the soft tyres. He's done his 3 tyres. Brucey's filled up completely. What tyres is he coming out on? He's coming out on racing softs as well, so Grasshopper's going to have to pit again. He's only put half a tank of fuel in. He's not going to make that last to the end of the race. That's why he is so far ahead of Brucey at the moment. Shows you how long you lose just for putting half a tank of fuel in. So they came in about 8 seconds between each other. We look on the mini map, top right, just coming into Lesmo 1, where Brucey's coming into the second chicane. So yeah, really do lose a lot of time by doing so. Molson there in 4th place. He's not too far behind Brucey, but he's going to have to be pitting in a couple of laps' time. So Fubuki out in 1st place, still got about 25% of his fuel left to go, and he's done about 10 laps so far. So I'd say he's got another 3 or 4 laps till he has to come into the pit. And Bazza comes into the pit. He's got half a tank of fuel left. And the racing hards ain't going to be worn at all. So Bazza's done about an 8 lap stint on them hards. He's will drop back down to probably 3rd place in the Group 3s, but as I say, Fubuki in 1st at the moment. Midnight in 2nd, just a little bit less fuel than Fubuki. James a little bit more, but he's got no rear left. So will James be coming into the pit at the end of this lap? Just coming through now. Yes, he does. So that puts Scott into 3rd place. So it looks like, I don't know, I'm really confused about Scott. Not sure on what he's doing with his tyres there. Mark's just coming around the last corner, so he'll get into 4th place. Because James has only put 40% of fuel in, but he's gone to the racing hards. He has just been overtaken by Mark there. So is James just doing the minimum he needs to do on the hards just to get them run and done, and then probably go back to the softs to the end of the race. Pickles there on the racing softs. Bit of distance between him and James. Molson comes out of the pit, it looked like it was. So yeah, Molson's just come out of the pit. I knew he was coming in fairly soon, and I was last with him. Golden Brownie there, well off the back of Pickles, but Grasshopper there coming up to overtake him for the 5th time of asking. Sits in behind through the first chicane. A quick little drinks break, and then we'll be going to the end of the race. So Grasshopper in 1st. Bazza came out in 2nd place, just ahead of Brucey. So yeah, Bazza running them hards for as long as he did. Obviously Brucey with the unfortunate blue screen. So we are all in a party chat, just so that then for instances like that where Brucey going up the inside of Fubuki, we can talk to each other and tell each other, yeah, I'm going to go for it, or no, I'll wait and wait for you to go past. But I will jump on with Fubuki to do a Group 3 lap in, I'll say about half a lap's time. Looks like Fubuki, as long as Fubuki doesn't come into the pit this time round, otherwise I'll be jumping on with someone else to do a lap guide in a Group 3 car. Let's just stick with him and see, because I don't think there's anyone too close at the moment, apart from Bazza and Brucey. So yeah, Fabuki's lap, that fuel light's just come on. So yeah, he will be going for another lap. Let's jump from the back of the car. So yeah, as I say, down the start-finish straight, these cars obviously will be braking about the 150 mark or so. So about 25 metres earlier than the Group 1s. Cut that first curb, but don't cut the second one because it will go into the kitty letter on the right hand side. Midnight's come into the pit as well, so round curb grande for the 37th time for Fabuki. Up to the second chicane, braking again about 125, where the Group 1s were braking about 100 metres. So yeah, cut both of them curbs, and then up to Lesmo 1, braking around the 50-metre board. So another late apex. You don't want to hit that wall on the inside. I was doing that far too many times. Into Lesmo 2, another 50-metre board, chuck it in, get the power down onto towards Ascari. We go through that little left kink there. Look at that mini map. He's got miles of track behind him. That's clear. But just before 100-metre board, start braking. You chuck it in, feather the throttle through the middle of Ascari, and then you boot it out onto the back straight through the penalty gates under the gantry, and then up to Parabolica at the 100-metre board, or just a little bit later for Fabuki. Then you can run it a little bit deeper than I could into the last one. And obviously he's coming into the pit, but then obviously he would be coming across the line. Oh, long camera angle there. I want that one. There we go. So yeah, Midnight come out in 4th place. Scott there in 2nd currently, but yeah, really, he's got 20 minutes to make 2 pit stops for the medium and the hards, unless I missed that he ran a different compound in the first stint, but I do believe he ran the softs. Yeah, he goes around again. Kabuki's filling it to 85%, so he will be coming out alongside Scott down to turn 1, but Scott does get past before the chicane. Obviously got to keep it inside that white line, or you will get a 3-second penalty. But Scott's come out, Fabuki's come out on the soft tyres, and obviously Scott is on the softs as well, but they are half worn. So will Fabuki be able to catch up to the back of Scott and get past him before Scott has to come into the pit, because he's not going to be able to make it to the end of the race with the amount of fuel he's got left. Mark there in 3rd. So at the moment we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 for the Beetle. So looks like the Beetle is the dominant car around Monza at the moment. Obviously Midnight will be going to the end of the race. I'm not too sure if Mark will. He's got half a tank of fuel to last him for 20 minutes, and he came in with half an hour to go, so yeah, I don't think that Mark will be able to make it to the end of the race. He will probably have to pit again just for a splash of fuel. Probably keep the same tyres if he really wanted to. James there, he's on his hard set of tyres. He's not got much fuel left, so looks like this is lap 4, so he come in any time now and switch to another set of compounds once he's used essentially all his fuel up, or he might just do this lap. Pickles there, he's about the same with his fuel as well. He's not going to be able to make it to the end. Golden Brownie there potentially could make it to the end. Oh dear. With the fuel he's got left, we shall see 19 minutes to go. But Grasshopper there, he's definitely going to have to come into the pit. He's got less than 25% of his fuel remaining. What's the lap time he's been doing? 36s. Wish he had a bit of a bad lap the last lap round. Might have just been traffic. Seems to be doing 35s. And then done a 39. So yeah, probably a bit of traffic. Looks like he probably got past 2 guys that lap round. Just, yeah, catch him in the wrong place. Like he's just going to be catching up James here into the second chicane. He's just going to lose a heap of time. Don't look like he lost too much, to be fair, going through there. But Bazza's not too far behind. Ooh, there's a bit of tyre squeal there, but everyone seems to be back on track in their section. So, yeah, Bazza on the racing mediums. He's doing 37, as I say. He had a bad lap, lap 42. He's on 141. So clearly a bit of traffic for Bazza that lap as well. Lost 4 seconds, same as Brucey did on the lap at 43. So that's all giving Grasshopper, who's been doing 36s, just doing a 35 there, a bit of breathing room. He's probably not going to know that they've done 4 seconds slower lap times, but definitely going to be coming in, that's for sure, for Grasshopper. Coming up behind Molson, who's getting the blue flags. So Molson is just about to go a lap down over at Grasshopper. So you don't have to move out of the way. You can only run in the same class. Obviously kind of a bit of a different race in Molson is going to be a lap down, but rules the rules. Faster class or the car behind has to get past safely. Fabuki has got past Scott. Where did that happen? Quite a bit of time to go. I'm sorry I missed that move. Over a lap ago. Oh, wow, I really did miss that. So coming down to turn 1, looks like Fabuki, and then Scott's slipstream goes for the move up the inside. Not really much you can do when you defend him when someone's on the inside going into the first chicane. It looked like Scott got that done nicely. So there's a bit of a mess between these cars through the chicane. Looks like Molson got it a bit wrong, held up for Fabuki, but Scott wasn't been able to do anything to get past Fabuki. But yeah, all clear now that Molson's got past. That's probably why that Grasshopper's put up to the back of them. So let's jump back to where we were, which was here. Yep, that was it. That 40 last corner. So Fabuki up to first place of the Group 3. So he's got enough fuel to go to the end of the race there as well. We've only 15 minutes, just over 15 minutes of the race, and he's got 65% of the fuel left. Scott's definitely going to have to come into the pit. He's definitely not going to make anything last 15 minutes that he's got with his fuel or his tyres. So that potentially could. I don't think Mark's going to be able to make it either. So it's going to put him into the fight with Midnight for second place, because he's done the same. I think he came in a lap earlier than Fabuki did, but they've both got about the same amount of fuel. So yeah, it'll be a battle between, I think, Scott, Mark and Midnight for that second place once them two have made their pit stop and dropped back into the clutches of Midnight. James there in 5th place, all kind of by himself. Golden Brownie ahead of Pickles, but Pickles has just pitted, so yeah, that's why Golden Brownie's got back ahead of Pickles. He might have enough fuel to get to the end of the race. Real Golden Brownie, it'll be interesting to see. It was 7 seconds off on that lap time, so something clearly happened with Golden Brownie there. That last lap. Pickles now will be on the softs. Golden Brownie's on the softs as well, but Grasshopper has made his, looks like his last pit stop to the end of the race. 25% of fuel, it's going to be close. He's really cutting that fine for making it to the end. Brucey there, he's got a lot more fuel, so I think Brucey's now going to be going to the end, but obviously having a heavier car of fuel and being about 6 or so seconds behind Grasshopper, it's going to be hard to catch up, but we'll see how that one works out. Obviously Baz has got to, yeah, I think Baz is going to be able to go to the end. He's got over halfway of his fuel, 55-60% of fuel left, so he should be able to go to the end. Moulton is about the same as Bazza, so hopefully them two should be able to make it to the end. It's going to be close between, I think Brucey might just have enough. It's going to be close. I must underestimate him with Grasshopper if he's going to be putting enough fuel in, so really he have to make another pit stop again just to get to the end. He's not put, I don't think Grasshopper's put a full tank of fuel in this whole race. I think he might have done once, but most of the time it's been about half a tank of fuel. So clearly thinks that that's the best option, but I don't think he's put enough fuel in to make it to the end of the race. I'd say they've still got another, how long we got? We got 12 minutes. You're going to be doing about 8 laps to the end or so. So yeah, that's going to be tight on fuel, I think, for Grasshopper. For Boogie, yeah, I think he's going to have enough fuel. Scott, there we go. Right, what tyres does Scott put on now? Let's see. Because I've really messed up what Scott's been running. But yeah, Mark there, he's not going to have enough fuel. Definitely not going to have enough fuel, is Mark, to get to the end. He's not going to do another 7 or so laps. So we'll see where Scott comes out in relation to Midnight. This will be the battle for second place. He's put his fuel in. He's just coming out of the pit. He can see Midnight just up the road. So there's about a 4-second gap between, or maybe a bit more. Yeah, 4 or 5 second gap between Midnight and Scott for, which I believe will be second place. Obviously Scott was ahead of Mark before he came into the pit, but Scott's had to put the medium tyres on, so he must have run the hards in the first stint and then run softs until the last couple of laps of the race. So he did start on pole for the Group 3s, but James there, he's the whole of the Parabolica and chicanes behind Scott there, so Pickles has got past Golden Brownie, but Golden Brownie's come into the pit. Obviously didn't think he was going to make it to the end of the race, so a little splash for Golden Brownie there, just to make sure he's going to get to the end of the race. But Grasshopper, he's been caught by Brucey 3 seconds in the last lap, so Grasshopper really struggling now. I think Grasshopper's probably known that his team have not put enough fuel in to make it to the end of the race, so this is now the battle for first place. But I think Brucey's gonna get past Grasshopper fairly shortly. He's really catching it up to the back of him. Mark's come into the pit, so we'll see where he comes out. But I think he'll be coming out behind Midnight and Scott into 4th place. And there we go, change for the lead. Brucey gets past Grasshopper. Brucey's still got about 30-35% of fuel, where Grasshopper's only got about 20, so Yeah, unless Grasshopper's going to pit again. I think that's Brucey for the win, because Grasshopper's really going to have to save fuel to make it to the end. Just coming past James. Standings on the left. Mark's come out behind Midnight and Scott. And Bazza there. He's just coming around the last corner, so he's dropped off a little bit, has Bazza. So unless these two pit again, Bazza's going to have enough fuel to get to the end. But if these two pit again, they're going to drop right into the clutches of Bazza. So it's really going to be interesting to see what happens for the last just over 8 minutes of this race to go. Mogson there in 4th. He's obviously unlapped himself when them two pitted. Where are they? They are there. Mogson's there, so he should stay ahead of them. So he will still finish on the same lap as the leaders. Kabuki there absolutely nailed this race. Not the qualifying that he wanted, but he's absolutely flying. He's already going through the first chicane, and Midnight's coming round the last corner. Midnight's got a 6-second gap between him and Scott. Mark's there, so yeah, Mark's definitely come out further back behind Scott than he probably was before the pit stop. He's had to go to the racing hards as well, so I don't see him catching up to Scott on them tyres, especially with now 7 minutes of the race to go, and Scott being on the mediums. James there, a bit of a gap behind Mark. Pickles of a gap there, and Golden Brownie at the back, running around, just setting his best lap times. But when you've got a half-second penalty to serve, there's not much point doing that, because you're just going to lose all your time now when you come across the penalty line. Brucey there, he's not got much of his tyres left, but it should be enough to make it to the end. Hopefully he's got enough fuel, but Grasshopper's fuel light's come on, so he's going to have to come into the pit. You only get 2 laps of fuel, and when you've got more than 5 minutes of the race to go, you're not going to be able to make that last, unless you're literally sitting there in 6th gear and just pootling it around at 50 mile an hour. But it'd be quicker to come into the pit, get a bit of more fuel, and go again. So it really hasn't worked out. If Grasshopper put a bit more fuel in, he probably would have been able to make it to the end of the race. Well, he would have been able to make it to the end of the race, that's for sure, rather than just putting in 25% of fuel. So that's going to put Bazza right into the mix for this battle for first place, or second place, that's for sure, with him and Grasshopper, because he's going to have enough fuel. Brucey there, so Brucey's tyres should last. His fuel, fingers crossed, will last, but we shall see. Yep, Grasshopper comes into the pit. So we see here he comes out in relation with Bazza, but Bazza's already going across the start-finish line. And Grasshopper's not even into the pit. Here he is, just hitting his pit box now. A splash of fuel, literally just enough to get him to the end of the race. But Bazza's into second place there. Now he's just got Brucey to hunt down. So will Brucey now go? I've got a bit more of a lead. He's got about a 10-second lead over Bazza. Will he just put it into a higher fuel map just to save fuel to make it to the end? Let's go to the group threes. Don't think there's much happening between the group threes. They're all fairly spaced out at the moment. Yeah. Golden Brownie. Oh, he sets the fastest lap for himself. 48.6. I think the fastest lap was a 48.2 or 0.3, so not too far off Golden Brownie. Obviously setting it near the end of the race as well, so still not giving up. Not had the best of races, but still trying to set personal best lap times. an hour and 25 minutes into the race. Back to the front of the Group 1s, that's where the action really is between on this racetrack. Bazza there in the second, Grasshopper is now just come to the end of his outlap. Hopefully his mechanics have put enough fuel in this time to make him last to the end of the race. Bazza clearly got enough fuel, still got more than 25%, so Brucey there, he's just about 15% of fuel, so he's cutting it fine, but I think with only 3 laps to go, as long as the fuel light doesn't flash red this lap round, he should be able to make it to the end. Obviously he is doing 37s and Baz is doing 36s, so yeah, Brucey's definitely knocked back the fuel saving in this race. Right, so the end of this race, just to make it to the end. Obviously got to try and save that rear left tyre as well as Brucey. Bazo's still got load of tyre left, load of fuel, so he can just absolutely fly. Grasshopper, all his fuel lights already come on. Is he going to have enough fuel again to make it to the end? What's he going to have when he comes across the line? About 2 minutes, so it'll be 2 laps, so he might be lucky and come across the line when needed, but he's got a big enough gap over Molson in 4th if he needs to not do an extra lap, to not do the 50 mile an hour for the last lap when you run out of fuel. Fabuki there in 1st, Midnight 2nd, Scott 3rd, Mark in 4th, so yeah, Beetle 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Group 3s, and then it's a Renault in 5th, Renault 6th, and the McLaren in 7th. Getting the blue flags from Molson and Fabuki, it looks like. So Golden Brownie coming under. We're going to go in a lap down, it looks like, over Fabuki, unless he can keep ahead of him for the last minute and a half of the race. But Brucey's fuel light has come on. Bazza there setting another 36, and Brucey setting a 38. So just over another second Bazza took out of Brucey that last lap. There he is in the background, you just saw a clip of Bazza. Probably see him again as his lights come through. There you go, literally just saw the lights coming under the bridge there of Bazza behind Brucey, so really close between these two. Grasshopper, I think, had to back off again for the end of this race. I think he's going to have to do another lap as well. But Bazza really on the hunt there for that first place off of Brucey. Yeah, number 37.5. What does Bazza do? Bazza does a 36.5, so another second off. But this will be the last lap between these two. So Brucey's there, just coming out of the first chicane, and Bazza's just going in. So there's about 5 seconds gap between the two of them. So all he needs to do is just make sure he's got enough fuel to get to the end of the lap, and he should have won the race. But who's that? That's Molson in the gravel through Lesmo 1. And then let's jump to Mark, who's going to come across the line to finish in 4th place in the Group 3s. Well done, Mark. In 5th place we're going to have James, just finishing ahead of Pickles. So Pickles really caught up to the back of James, it seems, at the end of this. James had a very slow lap, over 2 minutes for this last lap. But James comes home in 5th, Pickles comes home in 6th. Let's jump back to who's that. It'll be Molson coming home to finish in 4th place for the Group 1s. So after a terrible start for Molson, he's still finished the race. Who's just ahead? I shall pause it and go back and jump up to Brucey. So Brucey's coming up to the last corner. We had Molson just ahead of him, so Molson still stayed on the lead lap. But Brucey comes out the last corner, comes across the finish line to finish in first place. Great result for Brucey there. Obviously done it for his friend. He lost 19 years ago. Bazat comes home in second place. Fabuki there comes across the line to finish in first for the Group 3s. So cracking result there for Fabuki as well, starting in last on the grid and working his way through the field. Who's going to be next? I think can't see who it's going to be. Who's on the Golden Brownie comes home in 7th. Everyone's all over the place on the track. It's hard to catch who it's going to be. But Grasshopper comes across the line in 3rd place. So great result for Grasshopper with all the pit stops that he had. Midnight comes across the line to finish in 2nd for the Group 3s. And Scott comes across the line to finish in 3rd. Thank you all so much for watching. Obviously, if you enjoyed the commentary, please leave a like. Obviously, subscribe if you want to see more from the channel. And I shall see you all in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.